All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin. All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin. Double stream today. Oh my days. I don't do this quite often. I don't really do it often at all. But I just had to talk about Thomas Tuchel earlier on. Obviously, some of you guys would have seen it. If you haven't, just go to my channel link. And you'll see that particular show, which is there at the moment. But this one is the preview. Welcome to the Manchester City versus Chelsea preview. Flyers, thank you, my man, for already joining here, Flyers. And I'm pretty sure a lot more will join in throughout the stream, and many will join later on. Thank you so much, as always, for supporting. I've got my boys here, my trusted boys that always do the hard work here. I've got Taron, I've got RJ. RJ, my man, how you doing?
Buzzing to be back, boys. Champions League final. If you told me that a few months ago, I would have said, yeah, thanks. Good joke, guys. But I'm on a high. I'm feeling a bit fatigued like the rest of the football world, but we're on the Tuchel train and all stops to Istanbul from here. That's
it. And I want to get your thoughts on it, because obviously we didn't get the opportunity to talk to you after that. But before we get to that, Taron, my man, how you doing?
Yeah, excellent. Still, I think a bit obviously crazy that a few days ago into a Champions League final. So, yeah, I think we need to try and take a little bit of focus away from tomorrow's game. Maybe focus back on the other things. I know that's going to be in a month. So we have a lot to do till then, a lot to fight for still. So, yeah, hopefully we can just focus on the game we have on Saturday and not think too much about, it's a dress rehearsal. It's a little taster for the final. Let's just battle for the top four. We need to finish in the Champions League places just in case. So, yeah, but I'm very happy to be back on the channel. Thank you, miss.
100%. Thank you, my man. Yeah, RJ, as I was saying, we didn't get to talk to, obviously, Taron was there. Taron's mum was in the stream as well, which was quite exciting. And obviously it was a very emotional sort of night for us, that particular night. But RJ, my man, I mean, talk us through your emotions, knowing that we're in the final now.
Can I just say, a lot of people on Twitter and the social media world I generally have this perception, and I try to talk it out myself as being this balanced sort of supporter and try to be very level-headed and measured. But I guarantee you, if you sit with me, it's a polar opposite. I'm like a roller coaster. I ride every tackle, every missed time challenge, every pass, every sort of throw in. I'm like Conte on the sideline. I'm ridiculous. I'm very bad to watch it with. So when we took the lead, which obviously we deserved, the fact that we kept missing chance after chance, I'm sitting there looking up saying, this is not going to be one of those games, is it? Because I can't deal with that. My private health insurance won't cover that. It just won't. I can't handle that heart attack. But when we got that second goal, wow, I almost spoke. I'm not going to lie, fully grown adult, I was getting quite emotional. I was like, I can't believe it. We made it. But it's one of those things. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves because we've got a long journey to get there still. So let's save it a moment, but let's get stuck into the City game in the Premier League.
You're right, man. I mean, I was very emotional post-match, throughout the match as well. I had to sort of hold myself together a little bit. Obviously Nishal had a few tears as well that night.
Yeah.
Taron was saying he was getting emotional. It is, for people that follow football, like passionately, not the casual sort of fans, which is fine. Either or, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, whether you're casual, whether you're fully into it. The emotions, especially when you're fully into it and you live and breathe this particular football club and every news and every game and all the kind of hard work that we do, wake up in silly hours, Taron as well, all the matches that he watches, it does, emotionally it becomes a huge factor.
And trying to get that across to people, Miz, I know I don't want to sort of spend too much time on it, but just for those like us that wake up at these ridiculous hours all across the world, trying to get that through to people who aren't match day going fans and don't live and breathe the culture of the club because it surrounds them. For people like us who have to involve ourselves by watching it from across the world, unless you're a hardcore supporter like us, people just don't get it. So the fact when we achieve something, it makes it all the more satisfying because we've stuck by them throughout, even when you don't have the culture that helps promote it, you have to sort of promote it yourself. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
No, 100% right. 100% right, man. Shadman Aberdeen, should we rest key players tomorrow against City for avoiding potential injuries to the key players? We're 100% going to cover all this, so stay tuned and we'll talk about all of that. Taron, let's get straight into this particular match preview. Let's talk about the press conference. It's very, very, we knew this press conference was always going to be about the Champions League final and upcoming final because it's Manchester City versus Chelsea in the Champions League final as well. This is sort of like a prelude. But I liked how Thomas Tuchel, and I think the fan base needs to realize this as well. We've got a lot of things to fight for before that particular final. Like we can't just, sort of think straight away about that final. There's still the top 4 race to happen. There's still the FA Cup final to come. And this particular match, Taron, as much as many people want to sort of call it the prelude to the final, this same particular match, which happened not that long ago, literally 3-4 weeks ago. In the FA Cup semi-final. It's happening now, and then obviously it'll happen at the end of this month for the Champions League final. But we need to understand this is very crucial for us for the top 4. We need to win this to ensure we are still in the top 4 race because it's not guaranteed that we're going to win the Champions League. As much as I believe that we're going to win the Champions League, it's not guaranteed we're going to win the Champions League. So we've still got West Ham just behind us. We've got Liverpool just behind us, really hunting us down. And then Manchester City, from their perspective as well, they beat us, they win the league. So it's just as important for both the sides, the top 4 race for us and winning the league for them. I mean, do you feel that's how both the managers, the teams and the fan base will probably go into this particular game, not thinking about the Champions League final, but more what is happening right now?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of talk. We have 2 cup finals coming up. For me, we have 6 cup finals. Every single game for me now is a huge battle for whatever it is, top 4, FA Cup final, Champions League. Every single game is going to be an absolute warrior fight to try and get whatever we're trying to achieve. Yeah, you could say that, we're going to try and rest players tactically to try and not give away our game plan. But that's not how Thomas Tuchel thinks, I'm afraid. He's not going to, you could say it's unpredictable. I don't think he's going to go into that. He's going to go into needing the 3 points from the game to propel our chances into the top 4. Man City already mentioned that Miz could win the league on Saturday. I doubt Man City are going to try and rely on the other 3 games to try and win the league. They're going to go out all guns blazing for this game, not think about the other game, which is in like 20 or so days. It's a long time to go. There's like 4 or 5 games we seem to play until then. So everything could change. You never know. If we play, I don't know, a particular system now, it's no doubt that we're going to play the same one in like 20 days. So I'm not quite sure why people are saying that we're going to kind of play a different system to try and like a 4-2-3-1 to try and outwit Guardiola or something like that. So, but yeah, this is a huge running, a huge running coming up. Arsenal, Villa, Leicester twice within 3 days, City, and then, it's absolutely crazy scenes at the minute. So every single game for me is big. I mean, we'll get into it a little bit more later, but Man City on Saturday. If we win this game on Saturday, I don't get how they'll play. If they start, I don't know, Eric Garcia up front, then, it's going to be absolutely insane. If we can beat them at the Etihad Stadium, they've only lost there twice the whole season, three times the whole season, then I don't think there's anything stopping us from going into top 4, winning the FA Cup and winning the Champions League. So I think both teams are going to go into it to win the game.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I believe as well. Like Yagami has commented, I would say City don't try to win the title tomorrow. Best would be if they could win it on their last home game with the fans in the stadium. Look, I think they're going to try their best to win it tomorrow. As Taron said, close to winning the title, you want to wrap things up so you can just sort of unwind and not worry about the league anymore. You know that it's in the bag. But yeah, the whole last game, the fans coming back, I know Thomas Tuchel was asked about that. We will talk about that as well, which is an interesting point. But RJ, next thing that I want to talk about is the fact that in this particular fixture, we're going in with a day less than Manchester City, with a day extra rest. How much of a big factor could that be? Because for me, I feel like that would be a huge factor here.
Well, I think it's a big factor because it helps govern how much rotation they would choose. Because if the situation was reversed, then I dare say that there's probably a higher probability that they would look to rotate. But given the fact that they do have that extra day's rest, it gives them an opportunity to perhaps start with a stronger squad, knowing that we're going to be a little bit more fatigued after, let's face it, our game. We had a lot more evenly poised sort of outcome following the first leg, where against PSG, they had quite a substantial advantage and therefore didn't really have to play at fifth gear, so to speak. So I think Pep will sort of acknowledge that and try to take advantage. And I fully respect what the comment was made there about City perhaps saving it for the home soil. But perhaps another lens to look at it is they would want to win it to not only seal the title, but to do so by beating the opposition that they're versing in the Champions League final as a big psychological, we beat you to win the title, and we're also going to take it.
Oh no. Wi-Fi issues. Wi-Fi issues. Damn you, Wi-Fi. Hopefully we get RJ back. But yeah, RJ's point was actually pretty good. You know, if they win the league and by beating us. RJ, are you back? RJ. Can you hear us, RJ? RJ, get out and come back in again.
You still with me?
We can't hear you.
I'll drop back out and come back in.
Yeah, I can hear him now. I can hear you now. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, continue. I think you had a really good point to say in regards to how if Man City beats us, like it gives them that bragging right that we beat you to win the league, kind of gives them the edge on the Champions League. That was a very good point. Taron, you were saying you just need to duck out for a little bit.
Yeah, I won't be long, guys. Okay, if it's
go.
I'll just catch you another time. So sorry, guys. Okay, I'll catch you in a bit.
Yeah.
All right, see you, Taron. Yeah. So like I was saying, it's like a triple benefit, isn't it? Firstly, you win the Premier League. Tick, got that out of the way. Second benefit, you beat the opposition who you're coming up against in the Champions League final. Psychological advantage. And third, you get to avenge the FA Cup semi-final loss. So I think there's a lot of motivation for City to try to take one over us here.
Yeah, I believe so as well, RJ, because we beat them in the FA Cup. Surely Pep's not going to go into this match thinking, I don't want to lose against this. Especially, I think that was Thomas Tuchel's first win against Pep Guardiola in the FA Cup. I think he's faced him 5 other times in the Bundesliga and he lost all of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, live chat, what you guys think.
Yeah.
What the stats are for Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola. I'm pretty sure he met him 5 other times in the Bundesliga and he lost. And then obviously in the FA Cup, it was his first victory. So yeah, RJ, it'll be a huge factor for Pep Guardiola knowing that I don't want to lose this one, because you lose this one and it starts becoming has he got the number on me? Do you know what I mean? Which is perfect for us because we want to make sure that we win this and we really start putting that seed in Pep Guardiola's head that maybe Thomas Tuchel has just got your number. From that perspective as well, that's very important, right?
Yeah, it's a twofold thing because, and again, I keep harping onto this psychological sort of game that's happening because, say, if we come out and play like we did in the FA Cup semi-final and get another thoroughly deserved victory, that all of a sudden not only puts back their Premier League celebrations, and that's not really a big deal, but it's more about that. What does that do from a mental sort of fragility point of view? Because all of a sudden you've got the team that's been the best in the country. They're well on their way to winning the Premier League. But the last 2 times you've versed the Tuchel Chelsea, you've lost. And not only that, you've also now got your players in doubt ahead of the Champions League final saying, oh, geez, we don't want to verse Chelsea again because the last time we played them and the time before that, they got it over us. So we're quite nervous now. So I think there's actually a lot more riding on this outcome from City's point of view as opposed to us in many respects, which is quite unusual given where the table positions are.
Yeah, agreed. RJ, it'll be very, very, it's going to be a big game, man. I think a lot of people, RJ, I don't know about you, I just have this feeling a lot of people are fatigued after that whole after that whole Real Madrid match. And it's just been a fatiguing season, right? Like there's
Yeah.
just games left, right, and center. And I feel like a lot of people are looking into, I don't know, maybe it's just my vibes. I don't know. I just feel like many are going into this thinking, let's just get this over and done with, and let's just go to the Champions League final. I think everyone can just only think about the Champions League final now. And we shouldn't forget there's some big games still to come. So very important to stay focused. I'm pretty sure, City are not going to let up here. Chelsea Perspective, thank you so much for joining, my man. He's saying, big up, brother. Thank you, heaps. John Edmond, thank you so much for these stats. 6 played between Pep Guardiola and Thomas Tuchel. Tuchel has won once, drawn once, and lost 4 times. So, Pep's had the number. But then again, it was Bayern Munich. I don't think it's much of a matchup, Bayern Munich versus Dortmund. Yeah, you can say there is, but Bayern are always clear. But whereas City and Chelsea, the gap. Here's the other thing before I continue with the press conference. RJ, do you feel the gap that we were talking about last season? Obviously, last season we were in transfer ban and whatnot. But do you feel now under Thomas Tuchel that gap is slowly sort of reducing? I feel like we are slowly reducing the gap with City. Yes, City is still the best club, I feel, in Europe at the moment. But the thing that Thomas Tuchel said, that come next season, we're going to hunt City down. I feel like it's true, RJ. The gap is, I feel like this current team is slowly reducing the gap. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's, if, who knows, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but had we started off the season with Tuchel, and again, I'm obviously a massive Lampard advocate, and no sort of slander on him here because I think he's done a great job based on his limited experience, which is a whole different subplot. But had we started the season with Tuchel, and based on a very good sample size now, we've had him since mid-January, late January, had we started with him from the start, the gap would, in my opinion, be a lot closer, if not perhaps slightly the other way around in terms of where we could be. And I dare say that provided that no major sort of collapse happens and we take this momentum into the off-season and we have more time to actually work on refining some tactics and getting a few more pieces of the puzzle, there's no reason why we can't actually start next season, not as potential outsiders, but as a genuine title contender, especially if we go on and win one or the double.
Yeah, no, 100%. We're going to be in the mix. And people are seriously going to talk about us as proper title contenders from next season. But next thing I want to talk about, RJ, is the whole matchup between, there's some key matchups here. Mason Mount, Phil Foden, the top dogs in English football, young talents in English football. We're going to talk about that. But Thomas Tuchel and Pep Guardiola, I feel like the way I look at Pep Guardiola, RJ, and I want to hear what you have to say as well, is I feel like Pep is a very, very tactical manager. I'm not sure if you saw all or nothing video for Manchester City. Did you ever get the chance to see that, by the way, RJ?
Only small parts of it.
Bro, you need to watch that. That was so good. Seriously, all or nothing Man City was really good. Even the Spurs one, as much as I found that
I watched all of the Spurs one. Yeah, that's why. Because obviously
that wasn't bad, right?
It
was all right,
It's pretty entertaining, Yeah,
watch the City one and you're going to find it very interesting, and how Pep and his tactical sort of information that he was giving out. I feel like Pep Guardiola is very, very tactical. He has a set way of how he wants to play, a brand of football, and he wants to play entertaining football. Similarly, I feel like Thomas Tuchel is a very tactical manager. He's very tactical. The way we've been squeezing teams and suffocating teams with the press and counter press, the way we drop back so quickly in defense, the 3 at the back, the wing backs, the way we're sort of creating opportunities. And he had Pep's number in the FA Cup game, which was so good to see, the way we played against City, albeit probably wasn't City's best team on that day. Nonetheless, City probably could fill out 2 good teams anyway. How do you size up these 2 managers when you sort of look at them both? I mean, do you see one superior to the other, or do you sort of see both as proper good clashes?
Yeah, definitely couple of good clashes. I'm just looking at some notes I took about what Tuchel said about Pep, and what he said was basically every time you verse Pep, it's the most difficult games that you come up against, because what he does like about Pep is that he appreciates his quality, the experience of coaching world-class teams. He used this word flexibility, so around the tactical flexibility, and his ability to help get the most from his team, like around the desire angle. So there's so much compliments and respect of Guardiola from Tuchel. I dare say that Tuchel, we know he's a tactical sort of genius. I believe that the way he speaks of Guardiola, there's a lot of admiration there and a lot of benchmarking. He said it, they are the benchmark. He's the benchmark manager. And I think he relishes these kinds of challenges. In terms of where they stack up, I'd say that over the longer term, Pep's demonstrated more based on what he's won. But the caveat is he's had obviously high quality to work with. What I think Tuchel's done, though, is if you had like a bar graph, his growth rate, I'd say, is higher than what Guardiola's doing. But Guardiola's starting positions, he's like a consistent high performer, whereas Tuchel's on the rise, I would say. So definitely not a chalk and cheese where Guardiola is leagues ahead of him. But I think that Tuchel's definitely putting himself right in that top tier echelon for sure.
No, it's so true. I mean, this comment here from Bubka Rico, thanks so much for this comment. Pep is world-class manager, but it's all up to the players. That is so, so true. He's never had a team that is, and the key word here, RJ, is team. Pep's not had like a team where there was two really great individuals and the rest of the team wasn't that great. He's always had a great team all up, good defenders, good midfielders, good strikers. Whereas I feel Thomas Tuchel, Dortmund days, he had some great players, obviously.
Yeah. And
PSG days.
PSG
days, he had Mbappe and Neymar. I don't think everyone else, and Thiago Silva, obviously, but not the entire team was like superstar quality. Whereas Pep, if you look at his Barcelona team, his Bayern Munich team, his Manchester City team, it's a solid team always. So this is the first time I feel Thomas Tuchel now has a proper team under his belt, and we are starting to see the fruits of it. And it was
interesting though, isn't it? Yeah. But what I was going to say though, because the natural argument of he's only good, and I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm saying people in general will say things like, give me that team and I'll
win it as well. I don't buy that either.
No, because the real good managers know how to manage those egos, because those egos are real. We've seen it with so many clubs where the player power, in our club even, if you don't know how to manage them and get the best out of them week in, week out, they can turf you out the door real quick. So there is a little bit of a relationship management skill in managing those egos. So I just thought that's actually an important point.
No, 100%. I'm not one of those ones, RJ, that think, oh, Pep's only doing this because of the money that he spent and the high caliber players that he got. I don't think you win that consistently just by that. You have to be a very good manager. I mean, you've seen RJ. You look at Man United, RJ. It's not like they haven't spent. They've spent a lot of money, but have they got the same sort of, success as what Pep Guardiola has been doing? No. So some sort of respect definitely has to be given there. But similarly, I think respect to Thomas Tuchel as well. You're right. Like, I feel like Pep's always been at this level, high level, whereas Tuchel's sort of upward trajectory. He hasn't had glamorous teams under his belt all the time. So now slowly he's rising up. He had the PSG and Chelsea team. I feel like, but by the way, just quickly, and now that Taron's back, Taron, a lot of people sort of talk about, Tuchel's PSG team and, he had superstars there. The Chelsea's team can't even be compared with that PSG team. I think differently. I feel like this Chelsea team as a team is a far better unit than the PSG unit. Like, PSG's got Neymar and Mbappe 100%. Awesome. But this team has a collective view. Is that how you feel as well? And do you think Thomas Tuchel will get a lot more than this Chelsea team as opposed to what he did in PSG?
Definitely. Like, even all the players are coming out and saying they don't talk about individuals. They're always saying it's a team effort. Mason Mount saying, or the thing with Tony Kroos that's important. He was saying the reason you're not getting sleep is because of the team. You know, they're always talking about the team effort. I think, you know, individuals, they can go far in competitions. They can get you to finals. They can do this and that. But I think teams are a really strong collective can win you trophies. For example, Bayern Munich last season in the Champions League against PSG in the final. Bayern Munich, yes, they have Lewandowski, they have Gnabry, but as a team, with Joshua Kimmich, with Jerome Boateng, all these other players, they work really well together. Tottenham earlier on in the season, obviously it's dropped off a bit now. They had Højbjerg, Sissoko, those other players that worked really well as a unit. So, yeah, Tuchel's old PSG side, yeah, they were a good side. They had a decent team bond, I'd say, but Mbappe and Neymar was mostly the focus. What I can say, if your players, well, yeah, exactly. If your players are willing to work for you, Mason Mount is a player who's willing to work for most managers, so that's always nice to have. He's a player who Kante, Chilwell is a player who's also great for the team morale as well. So I think our team has improved a lot this season with our signings. Timo Werner seems like a guy who does stuff for the team a lot. He gets assists, he wins penalties. Kai Havertz is a guy who likes to. He's always talking to a lot of players in the training videos. I know it's not important, but yeah, exactly. Our team has a better attitude and behaviour. I feel like we know that maybe on paper we're not the strongest team. The individuals, we don't have your Lewandowskis, your Ronaldos, your Messis, but as a unit, you know, we have a very, very strong bond together. So in the end, I think the units really go in winning trophies, and I think that's very promising to see for us as fans, to see our team working so well together.
Yeah, 100% agree. At the end of the day, the unit is far more important than individuals. You know, I've always said, you know, when you have a strong unit and you have a very, very strong system, the individuals then start complementing the whole thing. It should never be about the individuals. It should be about the unit and the system, and then the individuals basically complementing it. Boys, let's talk about one more thing in the press conference before we move straight into the lineups. Mason Mount versus Phil Foden. Taron, I'll go to you first and get RJ's thoughts. I mean, you know, you're someone, Taron. You've been brought up in London. I'm pretty sure you were born there as well. Yeah, you were born in London?
I was.
Yeah. So obviously your team is England in international level. How does it make you feel knowing that, you know, there was that golden generation? Obviously, Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, Ashley Cole. I can't believe that particular Rio Ferdinand, John Terry. I can't believe that particular team never won anything. Wayne Rooney. Like, on my days, how couldn't that team win anything? But how does that make you feel that you've got Mason Mount and Phil Foden, a couple of unbelievable talents that's coming up the ranks in England, probably two of the best talents in English football right now? How does it make you feel thinking, yeah, we're in good hands at the moment?
It's not too bad, is it, as an England fan seeing these players going through? It's not too bad, but it's not just them. You know, we have Grealish, we have Maddison, we have Saka, all these great players coming through at the minute. And I think in the past for these England sides, we had a lot of experienced players, a lot of individuals, Lampard and Gerrard, who never seemed to strike up a combination. We had Wayne Rooney, who, again, was not really striking up a combination with these big, big rivals. I mean, I know this isn't really relevant. Back then, rivalries in English football were like, you know, bloodthirsty. Everyone was battering each other. Now it's like they're shaking hands after the game. They're laughing after the game. Eden Hazard, not really, but they're just always joking. But yeah, now we have such good like individuals. Mason Mount, you know, we have Mason Mount. And then, you know, if Mason Mount's not fit, we have Phil Foden. If he's not playing, we have Maddison and Grealish. And like I mentioned before, but yeah, on that kind of debate, you know, I was saying before on this stream that it takes a lot of bottle for Chelsea fans to say that Phil Foden is maybe, for his age, a 20-year-old. He's come through. He's done very well. And I'd probably say that he's one of the best youngsters in the Premier League at the minute. But for me, the way I've seen Mason Mount the last few weeks, I'm actually going to put Mason Mount above him. And I'm going to say that now. The things he's done in the Champions League semi-finals, he's dominating the best midfielders in the world. In a team that's not,
You know, I was just going to say, sorry to cut you off there, Taron. Literally probably about 2-3 weeks ago, I was thinking Foden's just a step ahead of Mason Mount. But what Mace has been doing in the last 3 to 4 weeks, I'm like, dude, you're probably just as good as Phil Foden, maybe even better. I don't know. I mean, Phil Foden's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Don't disrespect to Phil Foden. Phil Foden is phenomenal. What he did against PSG, what he did against Dortmund. But similarly, Mason Mount, what he's done against Porto, what he has done against Real Madrid. I mean, yeah, you think Mount's just a bit better?
I've said the last few weeks, I think they both have great attributes, different attributes. Phil Foden has the kind of skill that I say Mason Mount maybe, Mason Mount has good technique, good skill. He can turn players very well, but, that killer 5-star skill on FIFA, as you kind of say it, Phil Foden probably has that. The reason I prefer Mason Mount is because, yes, he has the ability, he has the way to dominate midfielders, but his work rate is something that maybe Foden doesn't really have. He runs the whole game. He's a big team player. And that's probably why I'd kind of edge Mount a little bit more. And I promise I'm not a really biased fan, but exactly, Mount can play 3 positions. He can play CDM on the wings if you need him to. He can play as a false 9 up front.
Very
if you put him in goal, if you put him centre back, he'd play well. But Phil Foden, he's a very good player as well. And I think we can agree they're both very good players. We're very lucky to have them in the England national team. For me, I know the Saka, Foden, Mount, Greenwood debate is a big thing, but I'd say Mason Mount is probably the player that I'd rather have out of all of them. But Bukayo Saka is a very good player. We can get into him another day, but RIP yesterday, Arsenal. But Phil Foden's a very good player as well. I mean, I can't lie, but Mason Mount's probably a bit better in my opinion.
No, fair point. Chelsea perspective, the problem is that first thing that people notice about Mount is his energy, and they don't look beyond that. It's so true. There is so much beyond that. There is so much beyond the whole energy thing. But RJ, my man, your thoughts about the two players, Mason Mount, Phil Foden, up-and-coming youngsters in English football, both are so tasty. Both are on fire, to be honest. And both have been very, very significantly dominating in the Champions League in these semi-finals and the quarter-final stages. What do you think about these two particular players?
Well, what an exciting prospect it is if you're an English person, isn't it? And I think just even as a general football supporter, and especially of those supporting Chelsea or Manchester City, it's a promising future ahead for these two bright young superstars. What I would say is I think, and the live chat's got some great comments in terms of trying to delineate between the two. I would agree that I think the thing with Mason Mount is obviously we're talking about his versatility, his maturity, and those intangibles he brings. But I think the comment made about, from the Chelsea perspective, about the people notice the energy he brings and don't really look beyond that. And I think sometimes he's a bit of a victim of that in the sense, and similar to Kante, I know it's not a Kante prop here, but it's more to it than meets the eye. It's not just a running machine. Mason Mount is very gifted technically, but because he's just this indefatigable work engine, people just say, this guy doesn't stop. Yes, he doesn't stop, but he doesn't stop with quality as well. And that quality sometimes doesn't get appreciated enough. And I think also with that, is because the energy from him is important because it's the other side of what the game requires, and that's the off-the-ball work. Phil Foden, I think, is such a technically great player, and I love watching him. I have no gripes in admitting that, given that he's a rival sort of player. But I think as a footballing purist, he's just a great young talent, and he's going to sort of reach some dizzying heights. But that said, I think Mason Mount's going to go right alongside him. I think that they aren't in direct competition for spots, given Mason's versatility. And I do think they do bring complementary yet unique value to the team. So I don't see them as a like-for-like battle or anything like that. It will be tantalising to watch them versus each other in both the Premier League and as well as in the actual final, where I believe Phil Foden's going to have his birthday the day before. So he's going to turn 21, I believe. So that's going to be an interesting birthday present for him losing the Champions League final, but that's okay. He'll get over that.
I love that.
bit of confidence. But just quickly wrapping it up, I think Mason Mount definitely, I'd probably agree with Taron, slightly overall in considering all the attributes of both players at this very moment in their careers, slightly ahead of him just from the sheer consistency and both off the ball and on the ball qualities he brings.
Yeah, that off-the-ball quality is very important and very underrated, what Mason does. I barely see City off the ball. They always got the ball. So it's very difficult to say when City don't have the ball, what can Phil Foden do? But it is a good point that you made, RJ, that it's not the same positions they're fighting for. I mean, depending on the formations, you could say that maybe both of them are probably inside forwards. Phil Foden plays on the left side, Mount on the right side.
He's left-footed. Yeah, Foden's left-footed, so Mount's right-footed. So.
Exactly. But Mount can probably play in the CDM position, whereas Foden, I don't know. Foden definitely can play as an attacking midfielder. There's no doubt about that. He's played in the middle as an attacking, but he can definitely play in the wings. But yeah, this comment here from John Edmund, both excellent. I feel Mount has a bit more all-round responsibility for Chelsea versus Foden. Yeah, and Foden's just the younger as well at the moment. So at the moment, it's not like I'm seeing heaps of leadership quality from Foden, but the way he sort of stepped up this season, that kind of sort of tells me there's a leader that is being born there as well. But it's fantastic news for English football. Hopefully, they can do something with these two players. But yeah, it's a tasty situation for future sort of matchups. Manchester City versus Chelsea. Mount and Foden will always be a talking point.
And
could be a rivalry.
Yeah, I just thought about that a little bit more. That was a great comment that was made, because I think about the whole season, and I think it's fair to say that Mason Mount's a shoo-in for player of the season for Chelsea, that is.
Yeah.
And I just think the sheer consistency he brings, and not just that, but with all the signings we've made and with all the other great qualities that we've got in midfield and across the board, the fact that Chelsea, the better that they've played, have had to depend on Mason Mount being at his best and really taking ownership of the team. Whereas Phil Foden, he's had purple patches, but to be fair, he hasn't had to be the standout player and main influence. You've had Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne step up at various times, and he's been able to sort of take a backward seat and not have that pressure or responsibility.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's a little bit different for Mason Mount.
100%. Look at this, John Edmund. Well said, RJ. That's exactly what you've done. We've got over 50 people here. Please smash the like button straight away if you're enjoying this preview. We're going to talk about the lineup right now, which is going to get very, very exciting. The live chat has been buzzing. I love it. I love it when the live chat is buzzing, because it just keeps the entertainment up and running. And at the same time, guys, my panelists, check out their socials in the description. Taron with his podcast with the perfect hat trick, the link is there, and RJ is running a whole heap of things. You've got the RJ's Twitter handle right there. Please go out there and follow, help RJ out as well in everything. And RJ and Taron, these guys are here all the time. So, this is pretty much their channel as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's now talk about the lineup, because let's face it, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Boys, let's do this from the back. Taron, I'll go to you. Keeper, I mean, does Keeper get a shout here, by the way? We always say this.
I think you're just being nice to Kepa at this stage, Miss. But yeah, all respect to Kepa for what he did to us for the Europa League win.
Taron, do you remember back in school time, and you divide up the team and you go, okay, you choose, and the last one always feels sad that, oh, no one's choosing me. I feel like that for Kepa.
That's what I always choose, the first one. I always choose the last one first. That makes him feel better. That's what we're trying to do around here. But yeah, I think maybe not for this game. All respect, Kepa's done very well when he's come in. Fair enough. But oh my God, Mendy is seriously so good. He's absolutely amazing, man. These saves he's pulling off, Fulham. He's one of the best.
Real Madrid saves. Oh my days.
He's unbelievably good. Seriously, I don't think it's form. I don't. It's too good to be form. But yeah, Mendy in goal for me.
Yeah, now Mendy definitely in goal for me. I mean, I do. You're right. I feel sorry for Kepa, but I do want to say this: FA Cup final, he has to start. I think he deserves to start that one. I know, Taron, you got different ideas, but Nishal always wanted him to start as well. Makes sense, because he was thrown through all the matches for FA Cup. It would be dirty if we don't give him. I get your point, though, Taron. We have to win that. How can you drop a player like Mendy with all the saves? And if we ever get into a situation against Leicester in the FA Cup where we need to make a big save and Kepa doesn't do that, but there is principles as well, right? But RJ, Mendy or Kepa, or what's the thoughts?
Yeah, here's my take on it. So I'd give Mendy this one, because I think we keep the momentum running hot. But that said, I take your point about the FA Cup final and giving Kepa the opportunity, because he has racked up a couple of clean sheets, which has been great for him in the club, and potential resale value if he does go. But the way I'd look at that FA Cup final is, depending on how we go this game, if we somehow conjure up a win, I'd be tempted, controversially, to give him a run against Arsenal maybe as a bit of an audition for the FA Cup final if we get enough breathing space. So it's really contingent on the result.
Will you bring off the bench,
That's how I look at it. That's a good
Imagine
one. You never know
a keeper.
Yeah, but you know what the problem with
halftime, RJ, halftime subs.
If Kepa was starting, you know how he feels about being asked to sub. So I hope he doesn't start. So yeah.
No, fair point. Look, with all fun aside, I suppose at the end of the day, it is the crunch time, and Mendy should start. It is interesting. We'll see what happens. I do like your point. You know, like a prelude against Arsenal, maybe give Kepa a chance, see how you're doing, see what you're feeling, and maybe we'll figure out what to do. But it's interesting. Chelsea Perspective, thank you so much, my man, for always supporting this channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. I've got to run, brother, but here is to our win against Madrid. I'm still celebrating. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I mean, we'll never forget, obviously, that was a brilliant victory against Real Madrid that took us to the final in the Champions League. 104 people has just flocked in out of nowhere. Everyone's coming here wanting to see the lineup. It looks like we've got inside story from Thomas Tuchel, so we're just letting out the lineup here, and everyone wants to tune in on that. Thank you so much, guys. Please smash the like button; helps the channel out a lot. Taron, let's talk about the back three. This is where it's going to get very interesting here. I feel like Zuma must come in because the other lads have played tough. They've played big time. Or are you keeping the same three? How are you going with this?
I have a bit of a different opinion, actually, for this one. Obviously, we mentioned before Silva maybe doesn't have the most demanding position in this team, even in the games. You know, he's such a composed figure. We don't even realize he's there. He does everything so perfectly. But, yeah, for me, I think Silva deserves a break. You know, he's played a lot of games every 3 days.
Yeah, back-to-back games as well. Real Madrid, and I think West Ham. Was it West Ham?
He's played 3-4 games back-to-back, I believe. So, for me, he has to come out for this game. I know Christensen has been, like, very, very good in the right centre-back role. Allows him to come into midfield, allows him to drive for the ball, which he actually does very well. He almost glides across the pitch. But, yeah, for me, I'm going to bring Aspi back into the back three. I don't know how. I think Tuchel maybe could revert back to this. He can trust him there. And then in the middle, I'm going to go Christensen. And on the left centre-back, I'm not going to take out the bust up. I think he deserves to play again.
Bro,
we need him.
This guy will eat your head if you drop him now. He will eat your head. I think he'll be looking at Tuchel like,
look at the camera and say to Tuchel. Look at the camera. But yeah, Rudiger has to probably play. I think Zuma. I don't personally want Zuma to play in this game. Unfortunately, I don't think he was very good at Man City in the 3-1 loss. So,
would you do this?
I think it could happen. And bring on AC right centre back, but. Nah, I'm sorry. I don't know. We'll see what RJ say, but I think I feel much more secure with Christensen, and I don't think Tuchel's going to bring back in Zuma for such a high-profile game. So it could happen, but I think he'll probably go with AC and Aspi. But this could definitely happen. Like it's very likely.
RJ, what's your thoughts, man, on the back line? I mean, do you think this is a possibility, or do you think what Bad Boy Taron was saying, maybe AC in the middle and Aspi in the
if I was to try to decipher Tuchel's press conference, he did use the quotes around high possibility we'll see some changes, fresh legs for guys who deserve a chance. So that could mean anything. He could be talking about the forward positions or whoever. But I think he is sort of foreshadowing that we will get some new legs in there. And I dare say that good on you, Lawrence. Look, for me, I reckon controversially, Aspi is probably going to be the one that gets a bit of a rest here because I think he looked like he was running himself to the ground. So,
bro, he was finished.
Do we drop both? I know.
He was finished.
But that's the thing. Do we drop both him and Silva from that leadership perspective? That's the big question mark for me. So, look, I can definitely see that back three with Rudy, Zuma, and AC. It's just... does he trust Zuma for such an important sort of contest? Whereas I think, again, if we can manage this game, Arsenal is the perfect opportunity for us to bring in the Zumas of the world because that would give us enough chance to rest for the FA Cup semi-final. So does he sort of try to stretch out Silva or Aspi for this game? Yeah, we just don't know what we're going to get with Tuchel, man. To be honest, I'm probably the most torn in this spot. I've got to say.
Aspie had the rest against Fulham as well, guys. But and we just played at Stamford Bridge, so I think Aspie probably he had the rest against Fulham, so that's probably important as well.
But Taron, I feel like he was buggered after that Real Madrid game. Aspie, like he gave his best, and the turnaround is not that quick. Like not that much. Like it's very quick turnaround here. We literally had just a few days. Was it Wednesday night? So Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday game. So 2 days really. I feel like Zuma's coming in, boys. Whether you guys
maybe
like
for his
it or not.
recovery pace. I think for his recovery pace, I think they would look to maybe bring him in, especially if a couple of our back three now are looking a little bit tired. Rudy's not so bad because he's got a pretty good engine on him. But I do say if he goes with Silva or Aspie in that back three, I think that might be a point of vulnerability for us, and therefore Zuma, someone I reckon he's probably going to get the nod. Whether or not we want him to, I have a feeling he will.
Yeah, I think against Man City don't really like to play. They like to play in between the lines through the middle. So I think we need a read of the game in there. Zuma's probably good at tracking runs in behind from a quick team, but Man City like to play to feet a lot with Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan. So I think I wouldn't be surprised Zuma comes in. Honestly, I'm happy to put Zuma in there, but I think you can't drop Aspie and Silva. You probably need one of them in at all times in the team. Yeah. But I'm happy to go with any of the combination, guys, whoever you want to go for.
Ooh, live chat, let us know. This is a bit of a tricky one because I feel like Zuma definitely plays in this game, but the boys have a point. How can you have Aspie and Silva not playing in the same game? There would have to be one leader there. I still think Aspie played his heart out against Real Madrid. So let us know what your thoughts are. I personally think, and this is not just set in stone yet. We can definitely change this around. I think it's going to be like this, but the lads are saying that, well, there's no Silva, there's no Aspie, then, well, we need some leaders at the back in this high-profile game. But let's keep it at this. I want to see what the live chat has to say. 139 people. Let us know what your thoughts are, and we'll see what we can do. Some are already saying Aspie, AC, Zuma. Ooh, I don't know if Rudy's going to get dropped. Seriously, I don't think Rudy's going to get dropped. But boys, let's talk about the wingbacks here. I'll go first. I think RJ gets a game here, man. I really think.
I deserve it. I think.
Yeah. Like he hasn't played for a while. I think this is the game where he comes in. If it's not RJ, then who is it? I don't think it'll be Callum Hudson-Odoi. Let's face it, he's not going to get this game in this high-profile game to showcase his attacking talent from the right side. I think it's going to be RJ. And on the left, honestly, I still want Chilwell. I don't know if Alonso's going to play. Chilwell had a heavy game, obviously, against Real Madrid, but I think he should be fit enough to follow it up against City. RJ, what's your thoughts, man? In the wingbacks, you like RJ and Chilwell or any other combination?
I do, but I think again, depending on what the live chat says, it just really for me the conundrum is that right centre back position. I think I feel a lot more comfortable if it's RJ being protected by Aspie. But that said, we're probably not giving enough credit to Christensen because he has adopted into that role quite well. So maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on Christensen because he's been phenomenal since he's come in, regardless of which position he plays in that back three. But yeah, I would go with that wing-back pairing. I don't see Alonso making it. Again, I'm using the Arsenal game as a bit of like a rest for a lot of these players, unfortunately.
I love how you've just discounted Arsenal. Like that's our tryout. That's like a pre-season game for us.
Well, it's like a League Two team at the moment. They're a shambles, aren't they? And I have no gripe in saying that. London is blue. London is blue. We all know that. So good evening indeed. So yeah, that's my wing back pairing. What do you think, Taron?
Good evening. I'm probably going to go with. Yeah, I'd probably start Reece James definitely on the right. I don't think Aspie's going to play another game wing back. I mean, I generally wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think he will. On the left, Alonso. I actually say Alonso played quite well against Man City last season. But that's a different system, different manager. So yeah, Alonso's last hurrah was maybe West Brom. So Chilwell, we've already mentioned he has a very good engine. He can probably play every 3 games with rest. Maybe his role is very, very intense. He always has to go into both boxes. But yeah, I think Chilwell's going to start and Reece James. But again, that right centre back role, as RJ said, AC and RJ did well against Fulham, but Fulham are a very different team to Man City. You can't underestimate any of these players. Sterling's not been on form, but I'd rather have Aspie marking Sterling than AC at this stage, just for his leadership. He knows when to press. He knows when to stay. Maybe a bit more than these players. So, I mean, that's a very difficult one. The live chat all agreeing with you, Miz, but I think
they are.
yeah, let's just stick with that. I think, but yeah, the fullbacks I think are no debate at all.
Yeah, no, fair enough. The beautiful game is here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining. Always, I love the beautiful game. I keep saying the beautiful game. It's actually the beautiful game. Now, guys, we don't want to be Charity FC against Arsenal, do we? Yeah, I mean, let's not forget about the 3-1 thumping they gave us. We have to beat Arsenal, RJ. We have to beat Arsenal. That's all I'm going to say. I know
they're still celebrating. They're still celebrating that 2-2 draw. The one where Martinelli scored that goal. They're still celebrating like it's 2012 Champions League final.
It was a 2-2 win for them, RJ. It wasn't a draw. It was a
2-2 win for them. 2-2 win.
It was a Champions League win.
Yeah, they still talk about that, RJ. They go and Arteta references that particular match to the board. Like, hey, look at the great 2-0 win that I had. Honestly, banter of a club. I can't believe they couldn't beat Villarreal. But kudos to Villarreal. Honestly, at the end of the day, Emery had the last laugh, which is fantastic. Yeah, the live chat seems to be liking this particular combination, and I think I'm going to go with this. Her Abdi, Chilwell, Rudy, AC, Zuma, James. I think we will stick to that. Completely get your point, boys, in regards to where is the leadership in Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta. But look, I feel like under Thomas Tuchel, everyone's a bit of a leader. Honestly, everyone, like, not that long ago, we were complaining where are all our leaders. I think we've got a lot of leaders now. Do you know what I mean? Like, Rudiger's becoming a bit of a leader at the back. Mendy's a leader. Andres Christensen, I mean, he's been putting on really good performances. So I don't mind this at all. I don't mind this. Let's talk about the pivot, guys. I'll go with you, RJ. What's your combination? Obviously, by the way, yeah, big news. Kovacic is still out. So there goes our thoughts about that. Billy Gilmore, surely not.
No, I know. Spoiler alert, I'm just going to say stick with J5 and Kante because I don't want to see too much change, especially if we're going to go with Zuma at the center of the back. Yeah, like, I don't know. To me, that partnership between them two, low-key, has been quite critical in terms of the success we've had recently. So talking about keeping some sort of stability, they're the clog, they're our engine room, and as much as I love Gilmore and I think he's got a big future, I think this is a little bit of a dangerous one to throw him in from the start. Definitely sort of bring him on in the second half if all's going well.
Yeah, and I agree. Can't see how Billy plays this game. I do worry because I feel like, boys, and you would have noticed this against Real Madrid, Kante, as great as he was, he kept on taking these sort of positions and these sort of positions. He was roaming around here and there and everywhere. And I feel when Aspi plays there, he does help out Jorginho in that midfield when Kante goes for a crazy run and helping out the attack. I just hope that RJ has the know-how to make sure he's there and not like it doesn't become something like this and then you isolate Jorginho and you go whole heap of space there. That's my worry. And City, if they see this, they'll target this area here. So we are 100% playing with this pivot.
But I think it'll be different, Miz. Do you think? Yeah. No, I was going to say, do you think, though, what I mean is, do you think Kante will have that sort of looseness or flexibility, given I expect that City's probably going to be pressing us a bit higher up the pitch and he's probably going to be forced into being a little bit more positionally disciplined. So I don't know.
You know what, RJ? I think at times he says to himself that I need to be disciplined, but it's just not in his nature. Kante said it. I used to be do you guys remember that interview? He said, like, I used to be an attacker. Like, I used to play attacking football. I used to be an attacker. Then he came to England and they told him, you got to defend. And they found out that he can defend well. Look, I think it's just natural for him to run up. He loves bombing up. And personally, I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. But what I do mind is someone's got to be like this.
Reece James can do that well. He can drop into the midfield well. Yeah.
And I hope he does that. That's the thing. And I think that
AC will push up a bit too as well.
Yeah, like something
like auxiliary right back. Yeah.
It'll be like an auxiliary right back.
Exactly.
But I hope that RJ is like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's been one of the reasons why Aspi has been playing as a right wing back against Real Madrid is because he's been disciplined. But yeah, Taron, what's your thoughts? Jorginho, Kante, obviously, there's no scope for Billy Gilmore here, is there?
No, but when Kante had that rest against Fulham, it really allowed him to be in his element against Real Madrid. Like, how good was he in that game, destroying play, winning second balls? He was everywhere.
Good,
he covered. It's actually crazy. He covered the second most amount of ground behind Kai Havertz. Don't know if you guys saw that, but
Kai Havertz 11.2 kilometers, and I think Kante just behind him.
Yeah, and kick-started both the goals. It was his intercept, or Christensen played him the ball. He got the 1-2 with Timo Werner, passed it to Kai, and then the second goal, he dispossessed Nacho, played it to Pulisic. So again, amazing.
That's what I mean. I feel like that was generally from the rest against Fulham that allowed him to have the extra legs for that game. But he hasn't had the rest now. I don't expect him to be destroying as much as he did against Real Madrid. But I expect this formation to actually work really well. And now that I think of it, AC kind of making that false right back kind of position, Reece James kind of playing.
You just make up a new role, false right back.
Yeah, that's a new role. I don't care. I work for the FA now. I'm a referee.
False right back.
Thomas Taron Tuchel.
Timo Taron Thomas. I got all the T's.
But I love it. False right back. Nice. Let's use that. I like this one, Taron. I really do.
Right. Cool. Yeah. We'll put him into the false right back position. And Jorginho Kante. has been so good. Like, honestly, how good has he been, man? Ben Kante in there. Gilmore made the bench.
Taron, just quickly on the Jorginho factor. That picture, how he's on the ground and he's got his hand down. He's looking.
That's emotion, man.
And it was tears as well coming out. I mean,
this guy has been through a lot at Chelsea. He was getting booed at the stadiums. I was in the ground. People were booing him at halftime when he got brought off in some game. He's been labelled as Maurizio Sarri's son. But even in the Lampard era, I feel like he was misinterpreted a lot. And I'm not going to lie. I was one of them who said he's not good enough to play in our team anymore. But now I know it's down to the system. In a good system, in a tactically inept system, Jorginho is honestly an amazing midfield player. Like, he can do everything you need. Defending, maybe not covering ground, but defending, passing, everything. And I kind of saw this with Matisse. He mentioned it. I think it was All You Can Eat Chelsea a few weeks ago. If we do sign a DM in the team, he better do what Jorginho does, because Jorginho is so crucial to our build-up play. He opens up space. He draws players in. He even kickstarts the press sometimes. He's like playing as a cam pressing. So Jorginho has been immense.
And the organisation he brings as well. He's like another coach on the field. That's probably underrated a little bit about him.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't need, like, on the pitch, he's another leader, like you said. He's telling the players where to be, when to press, when to stay back. Yeah. Every team needs a player like Jorginho, I feel like. And Jorginho has been incredible. But what you said about Arsenal, a little bit about that. If we lose to Arsenal, I'm actually going to be so angry. Like, that game was an absolute joke on my integrity, my honour. I was saying 3-4-0 at the start. They lost to Burnley at home. They lost to Wolves. They lost to Man City. They lost everyone. And then we went out, and now we have to beat Arsenal. I don't care. I'll lose this game if we have to beat Arsenal, honestly.
Bro, I've never been that much embarrassed after that game. I've never been that much embarrassed. Like, I was literally embarrassed to come in and do my review because I felt like, how can I show my face after that? Because I built up that game.
Yeah, they concern me.
Yeah.
I feel like Arsenal...
they concern me because, exactly. We always struggle against the smaller clubs, so I'm really worried about versing them now because that's what they've become.
They're not a big club. They're not a big team. Maybe they're a big club from the history, but I don't see any present in future if Kroenke stays for them. So I'm not worried about Arsenal anymore. That's the same as Southampton for me. Like, we have to go out. Let's get matchday vlogs in the stream again to talk about that game. But let's beat them. Let's knock them out, please. Let's beat them 8-2, as someone said. More than that. Beg.
100%.
Feel the people from the live chat are actually saying Zuma in the middle will be a bit of a suicide mission. I don't know, man. I felt like that. I used to feel like that, and he has made mistakes in that position. 100%. I'm not going to deny that. But then Atletico Madrid was it first leg, second leg? Which one was it, boys? Where he was in the middle and he was a monster. Second leg.
That was
Yeah, and he was a monster. He was an absolute monster. And there was a few other games where Zuma played in the middle, and he was very, very good. And to be honest, I can't see how Zuma does any better in the left side or the right side. For me, the middle is, as much as it contradicts what I used to say ages ago, that in the middle it doesn't suit him. How can he play out? But in this style, our playmaking will really be with Rudy and AC from the back.
I actually think, with Zuma though, I think this is, if he does get picked, perhaps this is a bit more medium long term thinking, but if he comes out of this game and just doesn't play well and we get a bad result, I think this might be a bit of a microcosm into Tuchel's thinking about Zuma's sort of future. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think this is almost like a bit of a last audition in many respects. If he plays well, he continues to trust. If he doesn't play well, it's almost like vindicated why you're not starting the big game.
He's under pressure.
Like
he's under pressure now.
Yeah, he's under
100%.
pressure. So I don't know. We'll see.
100%. Zuma is definitely under the pressure because he's the one that's getting left out more often these days. But I think Zuma will be. See, when it's Silva in the middle or AC in the middle, they're the ones who are dictating the play in the middle. But if Zuma stays in the middle, I think the more play will be dictated by AC and Rudy. Generally, they're trying to find the diagonal balls.
That could kind of allow. So I just kind of realized something about formation. Reece James can play as a CDM sometimes, right? So Man City like to play in the middle and they like to overload the middle. If Reece James kind of tuck in a bit and make that almost a 3 sometimes, then that could eliminate like Bernardo Silva and Foden from coming inside. That could actually work really well with AC kind of covering that space on the right. That could be really crucial, actually.
Honestly, it kind of could become like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, like a 3-3-1-3 sort of thing.
Like a 3-4-3 almost, yeah.
Yeah, and it all depends. Force right back, man. It all depends what we do off the ball, with the ball. It could seriously become something like this. But if we just go back to our original sort of formation before we scare the living daylights off our live chat, before they start thinking, what are these guys doing, man? They're playing fantasy football. It's not. It's just this is exactly what happens in real game. Honestly, if you look at the Real Madrid game, you'll notice many a time Aspi was more central and making sure that when Kante's bombing up, that he's looking after. Boys, this is where it's going to get really, really interesting. Superheroes Gaming, I have noticed your messages. Don't get me wrong. Don't think I'm not noticing it. You're there in the Lawrence. Guys, this is my second upload, by the way. 157 people live right now. Please smash the like button if you're enjoying this preview. I had another video literally 2 hours ago with Lawrence Vescoli. Please go and subscribe to him as well and check out my, just the recent stream where we talked about Thomas Tuchel. And Superheroes Gaming was constantly asking me about Ziyech. And I have to tell him, mate, just hold your horses. We're going to do the preview and we're going to talk about Ziyech. So Superheroes Gaming, this is about you right now. We're going to talk about Ziyech. For me, boys, I don't know. There's some talks that's been happening that Ziyech wasn't noticed in post-match celebrations of our semi-final. He wasn't in the pictures. I was going to be worried, but then a few people have been saying in that team picture, Mason Mount wasn't there either, and Kepa wasn't there either. I think a few other players weren't there. Ziyech was fasting. Maybe he was eating. So I won't read too much into that. A lot of people were saying, many other players in the social media wrote about the success, and they tweeted or they posted something on Instagram, and Ziyech hasn't done anything. Once again, I don't want to buy in or just because a player didn't do that, that doesn't mean that they've fallen out or anything like that. But yeah, it's a particular situation we must wait and watch this space. But I would start Ziyech. I honestly would start Ziyech. What's your thoughts, boys? I'll go with you, Taron.
Yeah, I think Ziyech was probably really angry about that penalty. I don't know why that wasn't given as a penalty, honestly. I don't care if it's a full time. Yeah. You give that as a penalty. And I would have been really, really angry about that as well if that was me. So I can understand. Yeah, Ziyech. I think the thing I'll probably say about that is it could be Ziyech, Werner, Mount, similar to how we played at the Wembley Stadium. I played against Liverpool. But I don't think Tuchel's going to do the same thing again. I don't expect him to do that. One player who I can guarantee will probably start is Mason Mount. But that's whether Ziyech will come in. I think 70% chance, I'd say, that he's going to start just because Tuchel mentioned rotation. Ziyech's a player can break the lines. He can play behind Diaz. Who can get there for the sweaty passes. And then it's between Werner and Pulisic, in my opinion, who's going to play the last role.
Taron, what do you think about Pulisic's comments post-match?
I don't actually remember. I don't remember.
He said, Ajay, have you seen that? What Pulisic said post-match? He said that he was frustrated that he didn't start. And he is getting frustrated that he's having to prove himself over and over again. He expected to start.
I think that was
But
kind of manipulated, wasn't it? The words. From
yeah,
ESPN.
the quote sounded a lot heavier than the video, but the video is still nonetheless. He said those things, and Lawrence and I we were just saying that there's no need for Pulisic to say those kind of comments in this. Like he needs to understand that it's very difficult for Thomas Tuchel at the moment. He's looking to win. He's not looking to please players at the moment. And it never should be about pleasing players. We should fill out whatever is trusted by the manager at the moment. We should trust Thomas Tuchel. But yeah, I mean, RJ, did you see those quotes from Pulisic?
Not the direct ones, but I did hear some rummages of it. But you know what? I don't want to get too much into it because, I think it can, whatever. Of course, he's a top-class professional. He's going to think like Ziyech. He's probably going to be disappointed he's not featuring regularly as a starter because they back themselves to be the best.
Yeah.
And for me, I hope they use that fire within to sort of show what they do when they do get picked, because it's only going to help the club and the team. So continue to be frustrated, but come on with your cameo roles and deliver like you've been doing. And I have no gripe as that as a fan. So keep pushing.
Taron, what do you think about this comment from here? Sam Studio, CR7, thank you so much for that. Mount needs a rest. What do you think?
Yeah, he does need a rest. But the fact is Man City are so good on the ball that we need to be good off the ball. We need to have our players who are really good at pressing, who are closing down spaces. So I know Mason Mount definitely does. We all need a rest. Like Miz needs a rest, Arjun needs a rest. But what can they do about it? They just have their coffee. Mount can have his espresso.
Taron's on fire today.
It's 3:00 in the afternoon for me, so I'm awake. But yeah, Mason Mount has to start for me, no doubt about it. And I can't believe I forgot Kai Havertz up front. Instead of Pulisic, that's 3 players you can start. Jeez, this system is crazy.
But you know what, Taron, and I want to hear what RJ has to say as well. I don't think I'll ever see Ziyech, Kai, and Mount because there's no proper out-and-out pace. And you know, Thomas Tuchel likes one pacey player out there, whether it's Pulisic or Werner. He likes one pacey player, and it's crazy because how do you drop Kai? How do you drop Werner? Maybe Werner, there's a case for it because he has played quite a few matches. Maybe he comes off the bench. Maybe Pulisic gets a start. I honestly can't see how you cannot start Ziyech because you have to give him a game here because he hasn't been playing bad. He literally scored the winner against City a few weeks ago in the same fixture. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you not? Oh man! And then Mount is just a workhorse. You know what, boys? This is how I would go. And then it would be really interchange. Do you know what I mean? It'll be like this.
Yeah. I think Kai Havertz probably won't start this game. I think he's going to go, like you said, for someone pacey. Probably it's going to be Werner or Pulisic. So, yeah, I think Werner played that game against Real Madrid at very high intensity, but also he got a break. So I think that's probably the system. I feel like that's going to be our lineup for the game, actually. I think Pulisic's going to play. It's just going to be Werner off the bench, hopefully. Man City, we can nick an early goal. They're going to come on to us, leave space for Werner to get behind Diaz and Stones and Laporte and, I don't know, Nathan Ake. But, yeah, I think hopefully Nathan Ake starts. I think he's a very good ex-Chelsea player, but hopefully Pulisic. Yeah, I think Pulisic should play. That's what I'm trying to do.
RJ, what's your thoughts about the front 3, man?
Yeah, I said before about the back 3 being a bit of a conflict, but I actually thought the devil's in the detail in what Tuchel said in his press conference in terms of monitoring the fatigue levels. And I think if I'm trying to interpret the very complex brain that is Thomas Tuchel, I dare say he's probably willing, depending on how Havertz and or Werner pulls up, that he's going to want at least one of them to start. Like, we all talk about how Mason's indispensable, but Werner gets a lot of minutes under Tuchel, and you see the work he does and the contribution he brings, not just in terms of his now back to goal scoring record, but the fact he's been creating a lot of chances for his teammates. I dare say that he's hoping and praying that at least Werner or Havertz will be available. I like this front 3 on paper, but I dare say if either of those have enough energy based on their checks and balances, that top position there is going to be taken by one of the 2. So what does that mean? I'd probably say, and again, not very fair on Pulisic, but I think he's the one that misses out. I think it'll be Ziyech, Mount, and either Havertz or Werner up front, just because I think he trusts them. Especially Havertz is in a bit of a purple patch at the moment too, in terms of his movement, creativity. He did run 11.6 Ks the other day, so that might be a bit of a factor too, in terms of, is he too tired and can he back it up? That's a question. I don't know. I can't see a situation where not one of them doesn't start. So I'm a little bit of a loss here.
Yeah, man, I'm confused as well.
It's a tricky one.
I just want to read out. RJ just pulled out the Pulisic comments. He said, this is straight after the Real Madrid game that we just recently had. I'm very frustrated. There's not much else to say. I wanted to play from the beginning, as I always do. I've had to continue to prove myself over and over again. But as always, I reach out to God, who gives me strength. And with that behind me, nothing can stop me. This player is frustrated. There's no two ways about it. Whether he shows it or not, he's 100% frustrated. Taron, what do you got to say, bro?
He's played quite a lot under Tuchel recently. I don't understand. Everyone's getting their fair share, apart from Ziyech, who's really not playing. Well, he's not coming out and making them statements. He's a player who's playing every single week at Ajax, and the Lampard who's playing every single week when he was fit. So I actually think them comments are bang out of order. Like, I generally think that you can't.
And this is what a lot of fans are saying. This is a lot of what the fans are saying. That
I didn't realize he did that, and I know it's probably not the best thing to say, but I don't think he should be saying, "I reach out to God who gives me strength, and with that behind me, nothing can stop me." I don't think he should be saying that.
He's full frustrated.
Yeah, that's
the timing of it as well, isn't it? It's like the team's going really well. We've got harmony and good chemistry. Let's focus on the collective and then worry about your personal situation in the off season. It's the timing for me. That's the problem.
Well, he's getting taken off my lock screen tonight. It's going to be Timo Werner.
But yeah, back to that front three. What do you think, Miz? Like, it's a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? I know the live chat's got some views on it. Look, again, I really like this front three, and I think there's a lot of merit in giving Ziyech a start. And I do see the merit in giving Mount a rest. But Taron, you're spot on. Like, how do you drop someone that continues to demonstrate really high quality levels of energy and influence and quality? So he brings that trifecta: influence, quality, relentless energy. So I think he's someone that's young enough and shown enough that he doesn't really have fatigue concerns, even though humanly speaking, he should be showing these fatigue concerns. So to me, he's a shoe on. Pulisic for me, especially when you make quotes like that, don't really endear yourself to the manager.
Take him out of the team. Yeah. Don't start him, man.
Taron's not happy. But Ajay, just on this comment, I think Werner Ziyech duo is best against City. By the way, City will play with a high line. You know how City plays. It's not like they're going to sit deep. They do play with a high line. They want to press. They want to attack from the beginning. Against in the FA Cup semi-finals, as you boys remember, we almost scored identical manner with Ziyech, and then obviously he scored afterwards the same way, and that's the same way Werner and Ziyech also scored against Atletico Madrid. So there's that combination that's been brewing over there, and I feel like it could come into fruition again. I am so sure that Thomas Tuchel will go with the speed star here. Whether it's Pulisic or Werner, one of them is 100% playing, 100%, because City just plays that type of a match where you can catch them out at the back. What do you think, Taron?
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to take my bias of Pulisic. I'm angry out of this thing now. I don't think Tuchel's going to play the same thing as he did in the first game against Man City when we won 1-0. I think he's going to know Guardiola's going to kind of analyse that a lot and see he's not going to let Werner run in behind Diaz. As we mentioned before, the fullbacks, very good going forward, but they do leave spaces when they go forward. Cancelo likes to drift into the middle. Mendy
you said it.
Yeah, I think who's a joke now? Like, I was right about that, but I think Pulisic will probably. I wouldn't be surprised if Pulisic plays this game. No, I really wouldn't. I don't think he's going to play the same thing. Havertz, Mount, and Ziyech. I know Havertz is very quick. That's not enough pace for me against a very high line side. I think you need a bit more pace in there from Werner, Pulisic, someone like that. So in my opinion, I think we start Pulisic and just tell him to keep his mouth shut after the game.
Taron's not happy one bit, ladies and gentlemen, with Pulisic, but I think he's going to start. I think Mount will be there. It's really now Ziyech, Kai Havertz, because for me, Werner is more of a interchangeable with Pulisic. Mount is just on his own. He owns that position. And Ziyech, as I said, he'll be more or less it's interchangeable, really, guys. Honestly, it can be anywhere like this. It can be like this. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter. It's very interchangeable. Ajay, I'm going to let you finish this argument. I'm going with this. Taron, I think more or less is going with this. What about you, Ajay?
Yeah, look, I'm going to have to surrender to peer pressure here. But again, because for me, I think he trusts his German connection. I think one of them is going to start. But Tuchel pull a rabbit out of the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if he really springs a surprise and says, yep, we're just going to give Mount a rest and we'll keep Werner running him to the ground because he can. And all of a sudden, the whole fan base melts down saying, where's Mason Mount? So we just don't know. I actually think this is not far off the money. But yeah, it's a flip a coin. But I think either way, what we do want to see is that if these fringe, we won't call them fringe players, but if these non-regulars like Ziyech or Pulisic do get the start, they better deliver, because I don't want to see any more complaints about not getting starts and minutes and whatever. We need them to perform like the other regulars have been. So we'll see what happens. Shamina seems to think that Tuchel will go down the Mount rest path, but I'm not so sure.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm really not sure. I mean, this isn't a match where I get it. I understand the rest factor, but we have not secured top 4.
It's the business end. We just don't. I don't know. If we get this wrong, here's a scenario. We get this game wrong, and I don't know if you've got the ladder in front of you on another tab, but I do.
I'll bring it
we're
up.
3 points ahead. Yeah, we're 3 points ahead of West Ham. If we lose that game, and all of a sudden West Ham bridge the gap, if Tottenham goes and wins their game, they're 2 points behind. All of a sudden, there's a lot of table pressure against Aston Villa or Arsenal next. And all of a sudden, that Arsenal game that's supposed to be a lot easier
don't forget Tottenham
becomes a lot
either.
more tense.
It's not like Tottenham's that far away. Do you know what I mean?
And Liverpool's away. Liverpool's got the game in hand as well. So if they win that against United, all of a sudden, we're dragged back in that race. So yeah, we need to treat this game not as a must-win, but definitely as a must-not-lose.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure West Ham, I'm just looking at the fixture, boys. Give me 1 second. I think West Ham's got a very winnable fixture. Give me 1 second. Let me have a look at this.
Yeah, I believe.
Everton have been rubbish lately, and West Ham's at home. So,
I think West Ham will win that probably.
Yeah, so live chat, honestly, I don't think we should take this slightly one bit. Like, we need to go out there and win. And I don't know how you can rest Mason Mount.
We could rest him against Arsenal. I mean, we've already mentioned we can't lose that, but I mean, we can play.
It's just getting over this speed hump, isn't it? Exactly.
Yeah. And that's 4 days rest into Arsenal as well. Let's not forget that. Tuchel always mentions we have an extra day to recover, so never know what could happen. But Mason Mount is please don't drop him, Tuchel. He has to play this game.
No, fair enough. Declan Ireland has been wanting to ask this question, left, right, and centre. Would you guys trade the FA Cup and 4th place for just the Champions League? Yeah.
Well, the Champions League, yeah, exactly.
And Champions League spot.
Exactly. So it makes 4th place redundant. So
yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Me too.
It's a no-brainer. Champions League any day of the week. If you were to say, Declan Ireland, that should we give up FA Cup and 4th spot and we're guaranteed a Champions League victory? Yeah. For sure. Take it. Leicester, let's celebrate. You're the FA Cup champion. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the lineup we've gone with. Very reluctantly, I think all of us had some sort of arming and ahhing about many sort of positions here. But it is what it is. We've come up with this. Let us know what your thoughts are. As we've said, it could be very, very different. Come tomorrow. And Thomas Tuchel could probably have Emerson as an inside forward instead of Pulisic. You just never know what could happen there. But this is what we've gone with. Before we wrap things up, Taron, score prediction.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 1-1. And I know I never usually predict losses or draws on this channel, but I think it will be similar to the game where Lampard scored against us back in 2014-15. I think we'll score an early goal. Then later on, I think we might concede equaliser, but. Yeah, I'm going to go with 1-1 draw, Mason Mount and Phil Foden. Why not?
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, not wow for the scoreline. I want to win, but wow for the whole combination. Ajay, your thoughts?
I'm going to go with Perhaps I'm a bit delusional and optimist, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 to the Mighty Blues. And I think who's going to score our goals? I'm probably going to go with, I would say, Mount if he doesn't get dropped or rested. And I'd probably also say a cheeky one, Kurt Zuma from a corner.
Ooh.
I like that. I like that. Zuma corner goal. I mean, that put him as one of the closest ones up there for Chelsea's top scorers, right? I think he'll be up there with the top scorers. I think we may concede here because it's not the same sort of lineup. I feel like Thiago Silva, AC might not be playing in the middle. Yeah, which might be a bit drained out. As great as we've been defensively, and I've been predicting our clean sheets, I think we may not get the clean sheet here. It's either a 1-1 or a 2-1 for us. I think we win this 2-1 or a 1-0. But I'm going to go with a 1-0. I think it's got a draw written all over it. Draw is not the best result for us, but it's not the worst one either. A draw doesn't mean that West Ham will skip us because we're 3 points ahead of them. West Ham, obviously, they have Everton to play. They could possibly win that. But then Leicester, I believe Leicester's playing Newcastle. I think Newcastle
today,
at home.
Today,
sorry. So you don't know. Newcastle been doing some madness in recent. Oh no, sorry, Leicester at home. So probably Leicester's probably going to win that.
Come on, Magpies! Come on.
Yeah, come on, Magpies!
I wouldn't say maximum. Come on.
But we just need to see this one through, and then maybe let's see what happens against Arsenal. If we can get ourselves a 1-0, a 2-1 would be amazing. A 2-1 win would be amazing. I'll go with the 2-1. That's what we'll go with. I'll go with 2-1. RJ 2-1 and Taron 1-0. Taron the party pooper 1-0. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed the preview. Over 150 people. Smash the like button. You guys have been amazing. The live chat has been amazing. Thank you so much for all the comments that you guys have been providing. The Beautiful Game, Shamina, Joan, Talal, Edes, just superheroes. Honestly, you guys have been unbelievable. Declan Island as well. Please smash the like button before you go. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. And my panelists, check out their socials in the description. Taron with his Perfect Hat-Trick podcast. Honestly, he's doing some madness there, so go check that out. And RJ, the Twitter handle is in the description, and RJ is involved in a whole heap of things. Just go out to his Twitter handle, and you'll see everything in his bio. And just follow everywhere. Whatever you see there, just follow. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. Check us out in the review. I'm probably going to have RJ and Taron back, and Nishal will be here as well. So you'll see all of us back tomorrow for the review. So yeah, until next time, everyone, take care and see you.